if we ever talk about a HM2 and a boost pedal. But yeah, like let's go.
Let's get into it, man. Talking to my good friend, Mr. Dev Gohil. Is it
Gohil. Gohil.
Go? Yeah.
Gohil.
Um,
Yeah.
I'm sorry if I butchered it, man. But you are one of the most, I'd say, influential black metal YouTuber content creators that I've ever come across in recent years. So it is a privilege to have you on, man. Thank you so much for joining me on
Yeah,
Tales from the
thanks a
Rift.
lot. Yeah, thanks a lot. It's all a bit pish posh, kind of thing. Don't need to worry. It's all good. Like, I just play guitar, man, and I just make videos, talking about music. So it's like, yeah, it's just normal.
Yeah,
So,
but man, you've given so much of your time and your talents and skill sets to a lot of people that, like myself, in the beginning of, I mean, I've only been playing guitar now for just under 5 years, and you're one of my go-to guys as far as like learning different chord shapes and different techniques that a lot of black metal bands in Scandinavia or wherever the world utilize to make a complete song, and like just so I appreciate what you do, man.
yeah, it's no worries, man, because it's like when it comes to like the actual focus of the channel, it's for people who are exactly in your situation because every time people ask me, like, why did you start the channel? It's because, once upon a time there was a kid called Dev Gohil who wanted to learn like how to play black metal and make songs and learn all these chords and stuff. And I remember going to people being like, "Oh, what's a black metal chord? Teach me black metal." And no one had any idea on how to go about things. So it was a lot of trial and error. And then we finally got there. And then I was like, all right, cool. If no one else is doing it, I've got to step up. Not like a complaint kind of way. It's more like the case of, if you know if people want it and I can provide, then I'll do it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, but that's basically what's up. That's the whole ethos of the channel. Just yeah, for all the people who are looking to learn more about like black metal and stuff. And I feel so English now with a cup of tea.
I was about to say you look so English proper right now.
No, no, no. The thing is, it's green tea, rather than like kappa, having a kappa or anything. But no, it's all cool, man. Yeah, happy to be a part of your channel and the podcast as well. Because me and Mo, we met at Inferno Festival in Norway, just like randomly, and yeah, it was just we just clicked straight away, and it was really great.
Absolutely, man. We were I think I first noticed you standing to my left during Or Noir, and then we got ready for, I believe it was 1349 that just
Oh,
played, or was it Shooter?
Shooter, yeah, it must have
It
been
was
Shooter.
Shooter. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, because after Shooter, because they were getting ready for Behemoth's stage, they pushed everybody back to where we were
yes,
initially standing, and I was like, "Holy shit, that's fucking Dev!"
yeah.
And I mean, I was like, "Man, this is the guy. This is the man who taught me a thing or two about a thing or two."
Yeah, yeah, it's cool, man. Like, dude, Inferno was such a great festival.
Oh my god,
Like,
yes.
yeah, that Saturday was fantastic. You had Aura Noir, and then, Cadaver did a great set. Aura Noir did an amazing set, and Shooter. Oh my god, man,
Shooter was just insane, bro.
dude, Emil, their drummer, is so powerful when he plays. It's everything was just relentless and just the way he drums is like he's just like taking the piss, man. And he's just fucking going in, and you see him like when he plays and stuff, like the amount of like rebound and height he gets from his sticks as well is fantastic. And yeah, really really nice dude as well. Big shout out to Emil and Shooter. They're nice people, and they put on a really really great show. At Inferno, and then that was yeah, that was a good day.
Really
Yeah,
good
that
day.
was a good
Really good
day.
day. And look, my jet lag was like kicking in like late into my trip. Like I'd been in Norway like a week by the time I met you in that day. And I don't like by the time I got to Oslo and get to the hotel, I was so just like tired. And I mean, I was almost this close to talking myself out of going that night. But I was like, no, 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 I have to go because whole reason for coming was Aura Noir and 1349 and Shooter as well. And I was like, okay, I'm not missing out on Shooter and just not. And I'm so glad I did, man, because a lot of good came out of that meeting with you, and here we are now. And in fact, to echo your point, those guys in the Shooter are so fucking nice that I hit them up. I told them, look, like, dude, y'all were amazing. Like the both sets, the original set and the set y'all did with Frederic was just
Yeah,
amazing. And I would love nothing more but to interview you guys and just have a conversation, really. And they were like, May's kind of busy, but we could arrange something. So I was like, yes. So my
let's
people
go.
getting exclusive right now. It's inside info.
Dude, that's gonna be sweet, man. Yeah, like I've spoken to their drummer and their guitar player. What's his name? Oh yeah, Halvor. Yeah,
Oh,
proper cool dude. And yeah, me and Halvor, we had a chat after a show that they did in London, and it was just like, talking about gear and proper nerding about guitar stuff was great. Yeah,
yeah, I couldn't. I mean, as a guitarist, and you could identify with me here. I mean, like every show, you looking at the gear on stage, like trying to get a peep at the pedal board, and what kind of stuff they're utilizing in their signal chain and whatnot. I love that shit. I geek out on that, man.
yeah.
Eh,
No, it's all good because I know what Suda use live, but I don't want to spoil it for you. So keep it for the conversation with those guys. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right,
It's,
right.
uh,
So let's go back, man. I want to get your story, Dev. I want to go as early gets with you because you, um, I hate to say it, you're not the prototypical black metal looking guy.
yeah.
I mean, I hate to hate to go that way, but the reason why I bring it up is because you're so fucking unique. You're like a goddamn unicorn.
I mean, um, I don't know, man. Like when it comes to the appearance, well, I'll tell you the reason why I cut my hair first of all because I used to have long hair before, like you've probably seen in the
Yeah,
videos
I
and
seen
stuff.
it. I seen that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So what happened was is that I spent a year abroad working in South Korea, and then 40-degree weather, massive heat. When you've got long hair, it just stays frizzy and curly, and then I just got so frustrated with it. And I've been thinking for like about a year or two, like I should cut my hair, and then I finally just like, what? It's getting to that point now. Let me just cut it. So that's the first. That's how I lost my hair, first of all. But when it comes to like the story of getting into like playing guitar and black metal, it's like
Yeah. Take us back to whenever you were a kid.
yeah, yeah, because I remember being a kid and my parents just getting like any cheap random guitar, like those cheap like 10, 20 quid guitars that weren't proper guitars when I was growing up, and I just kept on like hitting them so hard that the strings used to break,
There's
and
some
then that
nylon
just happened.
strings.
Yeah, and then that just happened again and again, and obviously no one at the time knew how to restring the guitar. And then it got to a point where I just started high school, and then I had a friend of mine who was playing guitar, and I was like, all right, cool, maybe I should pick it up and start taking it a bit more seriously and get lessons and stuff. So that was like my introduction into guitar. And then when you start learning guitar, you learn certain riffs. Everyone starts off with like Smoke on the Water, and all of the stuff. I remember in School of Rock when he's in the class and he's like, copy this riff, and he plays like Black Sabbath and AC/DC and Deep Purple, and you just learn that kind of stuff when you first start off learning guitar, and then that happened, and then over time you get into heavier and heavier music, and then it got to a point where my cousin showed me Nile, and then that's when the floodgates opened to all of the like super extreme stuff, and yeah, so Nile was the first death metal band I got into. And then from there, a couple months later, my cousin shows me the latest Immortal album because that's when All Shall Fall came out, and it just clicked straight away. And then I was like, "Hang on a minute, maybe there is something to this music genre." So then you find other bands, I think another one that really stood out in the early days was Dimmu Borgir. Still a massive fan of Dimmu Borgir. Really love what they do. And then you get into like the Emperor, the Gorgoroth, and then it all kind of um, then the day I discovered 1349 was when I realized that there's like this different kind of take on black metal where it's a bit more kind of like thrashy and exciting and less kind of monotonous in playing, because like I really enjoyed the kind of writing style that um, people like Astenu and Gauda added into Dimmu Borgir. This kind of like technical, kind of like thrash, melodic style of riffing, as well as the because Selenos writes some really interesting and cool melodic riffs as well,
Hmm.
and some stuff that's like super quick as well. And yeah, so that then discovering 1349 kind of took it into this new direction, and then you listen to like other bands and stuff, and you find your favorites, you buy CDs. And then it got to a point where it's like, okay, let me actually try and learn some of this stuff. And I just couldn't get like the tremolo picking down, or like this super fast picking or whatever, because I just didn't have the dexterity or the technique at the time. So I just kept on learning Iron Maiden songs as well, because I was massive into Iron Maiden around the same kind of time. So then by learning all that like dun, 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 and playing along to Iron Maiden songs, it eventually I was able to do all like the Kings of the Conflagration chug stuff, the
Uh-huh.
dun, 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 brrrm. So I built that kind of technique really in my right hand, and then with the left hand, because you learn like how to be their name, I kind of got some level of the chops up. So it all kind of just like started escalating and escalating, and then it got to a point where it's like, okay, let me try and make my own music. And then before I started college, so like British college is like 2 years before American college, I believe.
Okay.
But before that, like when I was 16, I spent most of that summer basically just recording my own music, and started my first actual band called Premature Birth. So in that first, like in my summer holiday before I started studying music at college, I basically had like a full album's worth of songs written. And then it kind of like it was me just trying to make black metal um, just by notes that sound evil. And really, that's the most black metal way to do it, because it's like you don't really know what you're doing, but you're going with like this philosophy and a feeling where it's like this needs to be evil and grim, and you've just got to like play your heart out.
Hmm.
Um, and then from there, I met my friend Billy, who did guitar, who ended up joining Premature. Like we kind of like started Premature Birth, me and him, because I had all the songs. Then he joined, and then we started like learning the songs together and started writing new material. And then during that time, a mutual friend got us in touch with Simon, our first a guy called Simon, our first bass player for Premature Birth, and then another guy we studied with, Adam, and it was a four-piece to start off with. So we did a few shows here and there, and then just before, actually no, whilst we were recording our first EP, A Ceremony of Power, that's when Vicky joined the band on keyboards. So then we had like a good run. And then there was like a lineup change, and then we changed our name to Domitorum, and we've basically just had like an album's worth of material that's like written but not released, um, and not fully recorded yet either. So that's something that's still kind of in the works. It's like kind of like a active but not actively gigging project. So Dormitorum's still kind of going, but we haven't gigged in a long time. Um, and then during that time, in about 2013, there was another band in the London UK scene called Eternum. And then at the time, the guitarist and their drummer at the time left, and then I was asked to join. And then we're basically drummerless for a while. So we did like one show with the original drummer, just because we had a show and wanted to play. And then after the show, the singer was like, "Nah, Eternum's dead. Let's start something new." And that's when Google started, which is still like that. That's kind of like my main band project now.
Hmm.
And yeah, so then in that time, um, we got writing. It was me, the singer, the original bass player of Oreshkagor, a guy called James, and another drummer in the scene called Lee. And then yeah, Lee's also part. He ended up joining Domitorum, and we went through like the lineup change and everything. So we did. We wrote like a few songs for Oresh Gogol, and then it all just kind of dissolved. So we had 4 songs written, and then I recorded all the 4 songs for a uni project, and I kind of just like left them there, and then just like did little tweaks on stuff in the mix for about like just like going back to it like every year and just keep listening to it. And then Elliot, the singer, goes to me, "We should really release this." And
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, I was waiting for you to say something because it's pretty good." And I'm like, "Yeah, we should get it out." And I was like, "Yeah, cool." And then we got our first EP out, Sojin, and then we got a live lineup, and then Elliot left in 2019, and then I did vocals and took on like the main like core responsibilities of the band. Then we released End, our EP, and we're working on new music. But when it comes to like the YouTube side of things, it's like during that time period of like all the bands and stuff, I was like, yeah, there's not really that much like cool black metal content online.
And what year did you start?
So I did the first video, which was like a Chasing Dragons cover, the 1349 song, and it's it's about 70% correct, because I know there's some bits here and there that need work. But I started off with that because it was like I just had this thought where it's like the first thing I need to release needs to be like a bit of a statement, and it needs to be a kind of like a difficult, challenging song that no one's really done. So that's why I spent some time on Chasing Dragons and released that. And then here and there, I just put like some other videos here and there, and then I came up with the idea of the 5 types of black metal guitar riffs and how to play them, and that just ended up doing really really well. I think it's on like something crazy, like nearly 600,000 views now, and that was released in 2017. And then over that time, I was just like making videos here and there, and then it got to a point where because always knew that I wanted to make educational content on black metal. And in that time I was like, okay, but first I need to create like a ground level, like some kind of like solidarity, so that when people go and see that first video, they already see like a backlog of like semi okay videos. um, and then it all kind of started from there really. So I just started just making videos on what I've learned about black metal, and then one thing just led to another. I just kept on posting more videos, and I expanded into more gear stuff. And then whilst in Korea, I expanded into more kind of like interviewing kind of side. And but the one biggest thing I would say that has been like there's been like a few turning points for the channel, and the most important ones are these. So the first was that 5 types of black metal riff video. Um, the second of which was because the channel kind of like did this slowly, but
Yeah.
one thing that really made the channel far more credible was when I started to collaborate with Blackthorn, Snorter of Thorns.
Yeah.
And I remember like I was teaching my friend Sakaris. He's like one of my students, and he's like we're having a chat, and he's like, "Hey, did you know that Blackthorn has his own YouTube channel?" And I was just like, "What the like holy shit!" Like, dude, like it just blew my mind. I had no idea that he had a channel. And then I see him, and he's playing, and he's talking about like tremolo picking technique and all these like grim chords that he used, and it's really kind of strange because in the lead up to that call, I decided to like dive back into Thorns, and I was listening to them a lot. And then his YouTube channel pops up. My friend tells me about him, and then I remember like in like the Dev Gohil Discord group, people asked me like, "Who do you want to collaborate with?" And I was like, "Right now, the only one I want to collaborate with is Blackthorn." So I end up just like commenting on his videos, be like, "Please, let's collaborate." And then
Please.
these, yeah, it was kind of insane. So it's like, yeah, then Blackthorn sends me an email, and I'm just there like my small brain just And then I proposed some ideas, and he really liked this one where we worked on a song, and then that was like the first step. So, and then from that, it gave me like this newfound confidence, and I was like, all right, let me try and speak to some people. And one of my favorite guitar players ever is Shalva, the original 1349 guitar player, because not only he writes amazing music, it's it's so kind of like there's some like potency in his riffs and stuff. Because during that time, um, I found out about his other project Pantheon I, and I was like, God damn, I've got to try and speak to this guy. So basically, I find out that he's running a podcast, and then I find his email from there on like a Facebook page, and I get in touch, and I'm like, dude, I'd love to just like have a video call with you, like chat riffs and about music and stuff. I've got this idea where it's like a meet my heroes kind of thing, and then it turned into like Black Metal Legends, and he was the first guest. And then already it was doing this, and then I get back to the UK, and then I've got before I was making videos with like just this limited gear, and then I come back, got a bit more gear, like a second guitar cab, some more amps and stuff. So I start producing more content on gear with like my normal Dean guitars, so I can actually like play them properly. And then that was all going in the right direction, and then a friend of mine gets in touch, Afra, who helps me with the guitar tabs, and he runs a good YouTube channel doing covers as well. And he's like, hey, you should try and get Ted from Darkthrone, and it's probably worth sending Peaceville an email. So I was like, fuck it, let's go. Sent
Yeah,
Peaceville an email, and then
yeah.
that was the next big stepping stone, I would say, is getting Nocturno Culto on the channel, which was another big kind of like in your face moment.
Yeah, that's a big get, man, because they don't just pass around interviews to anyone.
Exactly. And then another big step up, and that was Tobias from Dark Space, who's never done interviews with his face showing. He's never done anything like that. And
Yeah.
I sent him an email. Um, I got in touch with him, and I sent an email like towards the end of September because I just saw Dark Space live at Cosmic Void Festival 2023, and I was like, look, I'd really like to feature you. Here's what we do. Like, and then he got back to me, and I said like, look, here's some stuff that I want to talk about. Gave him like an idea of like some of the questions, and then he agreed. And then it was his idea to do two videos as well. So I was like, all right, cool, let's do two videos. So 2023 was like the year that really changed the channel,
Right.
and then from there, it's kind of just been again riding a really really positive wave. And then also in 2023, I released at the beginning of the year was my guitar course, Black Metal Mastery, but also 2023 was the release of the Dev Gohil tab book, um,
Oh,
Abyssal Scriptures Unleashed. So, and this is just a compilation of all, like a lot of the music I've just written for the channel and some personal songs and stuff. And yeah, the book sold out in about a year. 50 copies gone, which is really really great. Well, 49 because I kept a copy for
are you
myself.
gonna repress? Oh,
No, no, it's going to be an ebook only thing now because I've got ideas for a second book. Um, but when it comes to like the next big project that I'm working on now is the uh, beginner black metal guitar course called Black Metal Beginnings. So I'm nearly halfway through all the filming and the editing, and it's a massive project and a big undertaking. So look, so since then, 2024 was another great year for the channel because we had some really really cool people on board. Um, some people that come to mind because I know Vegar from Hordenrife. He'd never done like a video interview before, so I got to speak to him as well. That was great. And then we also had Apollyon of Aura Noir, Siderman of 1349. We also had Bryce from Dissection, and Selenos was another big one as well. And then another cool thing about last year for the channel was like my first trip ever to Norway, and I got to spend I was hanging out with Blackthorn for 3 days. We did a bit of filming, hanging out, met some other people in the scene, and oh yeah, that was yeah. And then also during that time, Håvard Jorgensen, the original the guitar player for Ulva, who wrote the black metal albums. We ended up getting on really well. So I get to Oslo, I hang out with him, hang out with Apollyon, hang out with Afra because he was living in Norway at the time. So it was just like really really cool to like meet all these people who I'd spoken to online, and then see them in person
Yeah.
actually and hang out with those guys. So yeah, 2024 was a really really cool year for the channel, and even this year has been pretty cool so far. So
Yeah,
there's
we're
still
just in the, just a little outside the first quarter of 2025, man. It's treat. I know it's treating you. It's treating me pretty damn good. Uh, all things considering on my end.
yeah. So everything's going positive in the YouTube direction. It's just a case of it's all time management now,
Right.
because it's got to a point where it's like, okay, I need to allocate certain days where I just do nothing, so I can just go into everything, recharge, and think about things properly. Um, so yeah, like today I was filming some gear reviews, because my local guitar shop, they had a I'm not going to say too much, but they had an amp in stock that lots of people really liked, and no one had done like a proper black metal demo of it. So of course, someone had to do it, and then and then yeah, so I just finished up filming with that today, and then yeah, so it's just a lot of stuff.
Is it a tube amp or a modeler?
Tube, tube amp, yeah,
Cool.
and quite a new product. Yeah, so it's quite cool. It's quite cool. I really enjoyed it. You can get some really gnarly sounds from it. But yeah, so there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes as well. And YouTube is not full time for me, but it's like the same amount of effort as like
Oh yeah,
working
absolutely. I
a day
totally
job.
get it.
Yeah.
I just I think I just started doing some video interviews like probably within the last year,
Mm.
and I was begrudgingly like kind of like all right, I guess I got to do this because people are asking me when you gonna put stuff out on YouTube. Like, man, I guess I got to get used to being on camera and all that stuff, and whatever. But I'm glad I did it because there, like you said, there was your channel was just steady on the incline, and I noticed that things are, likewise just kind of going. Um, and it's a real unexpected surprise, I guess, for me because I mean, I was telling a good friend of mine, like I literally started this out of boredom during COVID, and to be where it is now and like people actually you know um tune in and or listen, it's wild, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's humbling. It's definitely humbling. And it's one of those things that once you do it, you have to know, like you go in knowing that you're going to have to stick with it for an X amount of time, but you've just got to keep pushing and keep pushing, and then you end up being in situations and meeting people you never thought that you'd meet.
You 100%
Yeah,
on that.
exactly, exactly.
Really, because you know like your segment of meeting your heroes, the black metal legends.
Yeah,
That's pretty much everyone that I've actually met. That was fortunate to meet, like local guys here in Louisiana, like Sammy and from Acid Bath, and just fuck you and I both. We got to interview Ted from Dark Throne, and I mean that if someone would have told the 13, 14-year-old Mo that that was gonna happen, dude, I would have
yeah,
lost my shit. And I damn near lost my shit while I was interviewing the guy. I mean, I can't tell you, how many times I got so nervous and just like kind of blanked out and while talking to Ted like that. And but dude, so I just hope I just hope he saw the uh just me being authentic and genuine with him, and like there was nothing that professional about it.
yeah. And that's the thing. Like, it's kind of more fun to speak to people in a more kind of relaxed kind of setting and way, because then you could just chill out, or like
Right.
kind of like hang out and just like, yeah, make things like really. really smooth in a way. But yeah, it's been a really really positive thing. It's been by far the most successful and um, uh, I guess in some ways powerful musical project that I've been a part of. So yeah, it like the channel's in a good place right now, and
Yeah, you
you
just
know,
celebrated what, like close to 30,000 subscribers or something like that?
close. It's 20. It's just gone over 26.
20, okay.
Yeah, twenty
I
six
knew I
thousand.
knew I knew you were close.
Yeah, it will get there. It will get there.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, it's the kind of case now. What do I have to do to like kind of keep the channel's integrity?
Right.
Because I don't want it to be like a kind of jokey meme kind of channel or anything like that. It's got to be, um, you know, it's got to be stuff that I agree with, and but I've also got to think like, all right, how can the channel grow? How can I really bring this up to like I don't know, 100,000 subscribers? Um, how long would that take? What's measurable, kind of.
Yeah.
But hopefully the snowball is rolling, and we'll get there eventually. I know it will
I would
happen
I would
eventually.
I would say your snowball's like definitely rolling, and it continues to roll, uh and you do make impacts, because I mean, if you're getting, someone like me from South Louisiana, like investing in your videos, and just hearing what you're about, um and the content is educational, and it's something that, I mean, it's going to resonate with anyone who's into extreme, black metal, death metal, whatever the case may be. It helps, man. Like it, I mean, like, you're people are able to put in practicality what you're offering with your channel, and that's, dude, that's saying a lot.
Yeah, and it's kind of insane to think about because like I've had like some people say to me, "Hey, I've watched your channel and I've made some songs. Do you mind listening to it?" And I'm yeah, cool. And it's really kind of amazing because I hear a bit of myself in some of those riffs.
Do you really?
It's kind of like this guy's been really watching my videos and taking everything I've said and kind of is ticking the right spots and the kind of stuff that I like. But the thing is, it's like one thing I need to stress with the channel is that it's not about how to play like me. It's to help you sound, give you the tools to help you sound like yourself,
Right.
and
Right.
that's way cooler
Yeah.
when you're able to like find this certain personal flair and you put that in your music. Because honestly, it took me a long time to figure out exactly how to do it.
Yeah, well, that says a lot about you, that you're willing to give a piece of yourself, to, everyone that's willing to dig into your channel, and just sit down and absorb what you've invested in yourself. It says a lot about your character, and that's one thing I really appreciate about you, Dev. You're doing this, willingly, like this, I'm able to, bring some cool people on and have guests like you as well. And, dude, it's because I do it for like a multiple reasons, to get to know the artists, and to pick their brain, and get to know them as a person, and just share that with someone who, wants to know more about, I don't know, XYZ artist. And
Exactly, because with the because the thing is with black metal especially is that there's a mystique to it. It's one of the biggest, like even if we think of this like in very very bleak corporate marketing terms, it's one of the big selling points
yeah.
of black metal. It's one of the big core marketing core interest points of black metal. The mystery,
Hmm.
you know, what would this person really like? What do they really think? Are they really this evil? Are people how they come across? And a part of that mystery is the appeal because people like it's two things like people like what they're interested in, and also people like what they can't have as
Right.
well. So it plays on two very very kind of I guess in some ways primal psychological fronts with black metal especially, and with like the mystery and the mystique and everything. It's after a certain time, so at least for me anyway, I was so kind of like done with hearing the story about like the mayhem backstory and stuff. I was like,
Yeah,
okay,
same here.
like, and then we've got to
Yeah.
think like, look, that what happened in the black metal scene then was only done by a few people, and that is not indicative to the nature of the other musicians in the scene and the genre itself. And we're in 2025 now. So much has changed. And one thing that I have noticed is like the people, the bands that are still going, and the ones that are like really keeping like their integrity, are the ones that are like, let's just focus on the music. And that to me has always been like the most important thing with everything, really. Focusing on the quality of the music, um, as opposed to, um, what's the easiest way to explain it? It's not so much.
As I guess as instead of instead of paying attention to all the past drama
Yes.
that's happened.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's all about focusing on the now. What is black metal in 2025? We know what's happened in the past, and we know who are like the key figures, but it's a case of like, I find it more interesting to hear how things have changed and more about what they're kind of doing now, really. And that's why it was cool, like talking to like Dark Throne and Horvath and stuff, and because those guys were there at the beginning, they used to go to Euronymous' shop and stuff, but they also saw the damage of what the extreme personality does.
Hmm.
And that is, people say like that's why people were trying to get away from things in the scene for a little bit, because it just got too much.
Yeah,
um,
people's egos were like just getting in the way of the music,
yeah,
and
exactly.
and just creating a scene that was becoming more or less corrosive to
Yeah,
what the integrity of the music was about.
yes, and that's a very, very good way of putting it, corrosive, because as much as people want black metal to be some dark, ritualistic, evil, blood drenched music genre, really, it was just started by a bunch of dudes just like hanging out, drinking together, making music.
That's exactly right.
And it's you know yeah, it's kind of taking things as they are, as opposed to like satanic larping. So
Yeah,
yeah, that's the thing. So it's a very, very interesting genre, and the mystique and the symbolism and stuff will always garner and capture attention, and it will always influence people. But the core main thing is, for me anyway, riffs and blast beats. Yeah, all of the bands that really focus on the riffs and the quality of the music and good blast beats, then
the
yeah,
rest is bullshit, in my opinion.
well, what do we need? And that's, yeah, um, yeah, that's kind of like my philosophy and take on things on the
Yeah,
black.
I'm with you on that, man. Because like there's so many friends that I have that that listen to black metal, listen to extreme metal, and I make no issue with letting people know that it like Dark Throne was like the alpha and omega for me growing up being a black metal fan, and it's still like that to this day. Probably people are probably tired of it because I talk about it ad nauseum, but and I say that because like there's a lot of people that, well, I don't like the last three or four Dark Throne albums that they came out with. I was like, dude, then you're not really paying attention because the riffs that they're putting out are, yeah, like they're staying true black metal purists in their own right. Those guys grew up listening to 70s folk power in the 80s power metal, heavy metal, and they put all that shit in through every fucking release that they've done. Like talking 20 plus albums that Dark Throne has put out. And no, not every one of them is gonna sound like the unholy trilogy,
Oh yeah,
but you know what? The riffs are still fucking hitting.
Yeah,
I mean, I told Ted that to himself. I was like, dude, like, in my opinion, Astro Fortress, like, people are like, I don't like that album. Dude, the opening riffs to either, I mean, take your pick. Caravan of Broken Ghost, the Stalagmite Necklace. I mean, Impeccable Caverns of Saving. They just hit so fucking hard.
yeah, and that's Astral Fortress is a very inspiring album for me in a way because that album came out at a really cool time, and it was when like winter was coming in South Korea, and I just used to listen to it a lot, and it just set the mood
Yeah.
all the time. And I still listen to that album, and it's one of those albums that you want to listen to like when you're stuck in traffic, on the way to work or
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that, because
That's
it's
exactly what I listened to the album.
yeah, it's got this grounded feeling to Astral Fortress, and even I had to listen to their latest album, It Beckons Us All, and it just hits the spot, man. And I think that's one thing that's great about Dark Throne is because they've always done what they've wanted, and they've never been apologetic about it. And
Mm-mm.
also, everyone's got like their favorite Dark Throne albums, and I'm never going to be like, you shouldn't listen to this or you shouldn't listen to that. It's more the case of I don't like this or I prefer the other stuff.
Right.
The thing is with like Dark Throne, like, there's merit in every release. Like, yeah, like even lately, I've been listening to more of Soulside Journey
Yeah.
because that to me has like my favorite drumming out of any Dark Throne album. Because Fenris is just
He just goes
balling.
for it on that
Yeah,
album.
he's balling on that album. Yeah, he's just going in, and it's great. And yeah, that's the main thing. It's just I was having a chat with this lately. It's just focus on the music, and
Yeah.
try to make the best songs possible. And then that's all that you can do as a musician and as an artist or a band is like, are you really putting out the best songs you can? And if you keep asking yourself those questions, then you're going to write more quality music because it will just show
100%.
like you've spent time on the music and you've given things a bit of thought. So yeah, that's kind of like my philosophy and take on like the black metal thing. Um, of course, your band can have an image. The image helps selling, but ultimately it has to come down to a musical backbone. I think is the biggest thing about it. Because like when I write, I always think, is this bit as good as it can be? Is this song as good as it can be? Does this riff fuck as hard as it could? Yeah. All of these questions I ask, and then I go back over and over again until I'm happy with it. Because I just finished up just before Inferno doing like drum programming to a new Ereshkigal song that we're working on because we're kind of like in writing mode now. I
Hmm.
want to get some more music written and released in the next year or two. And then I've spent me and Dan actually have spent what was it? We started like coming up with ideas back in November, and it only took until like the beginning of April for me to be like, nope, I've got a guitar blueprint that I'm happy with now, and then it's a case of building up from there. But that's like 4 months back and forth of like listening and listening. Should this section repeat one more time? Where should this be cut? Where do the drums come in?
Right.
And just trying to create the most kind of it's by far the most it's by far the fastest and possibly the most potent, arguably the most potent UK black metal at the moment. This new Ereshkigal song because it's just so like damn. So yeah, it's just a case of keeping that quality up.
Yeah.
Speed isn't everything, but it's a big part of Ereshkigal and the way I write because it's like part of the philosophy. It's got to be on the edge of capabilities. So it's got to be, that fine line where it can go incredibly wrong, but when it's right, it's so potent and so in your face that
Hmm.
it's, yeah,
Are
just
there
perfect.
any like younger bands, I should say, in the UK scene that you're paying attention to that I guess would inspire you as a player?
Mm. See, that's the thing. Like, I know about some of the bands in the UK black metal scene, and I listen to a lot of them. But new bands up and coming, I'm not too sure because it's kind of there's been a few new bands, and I've seen some live, and I haven't found one that I'm like, damn, this is really like capturing my heart kind of thing. The last time that happened was in 2013 when there was a UK black metal band called Verdale, and they had, dude, it was like all of the good bits of Gorgoroth and all of the good bits of Behexen molded into
Oh
one,
wow, wow.
and it was just so good when they had their run, because their drummer passed away
Oh
in
shit.
2019. Yeah, yeah, and but yeah, they still are for me my favorite UK black metal band, because it was just because not only were they cool guys to hang out with, it was just like really cool music as well. Um, yeah, but the thing is, it's like the bands that I kind of see, like for me, like my favorite UK black metal band at the moment that's gigging and active is Necro Ritual because it's just kind of grim and gnarly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's
I like my stuff on the really grim and raw side. I mean, obviously, you know,
yeah.
we talked about Aura Noir, man, and like, uh, I selfishly want to start a project with some friends of mine that is just gonna be just straight up just sloppy as all shit. Like just like like the days of like of like talking early Slayer, early Sodom type of stuff, but with just just a black and like aura noir like
Yeah.
flair to it.
Yeah. Oh, that reminds me. Yeah, there's another great UK black metal band. It's not only Necro Ritual. There's another band called Devastator, which do that kind of like 80s influenced black thrash
Yes.
as well. So it's those two would yeah, like Devastator with Aura Noir would be a great lineup, and that just reminded me of another good. See, like all the UK black metal bands that I like have been going on for a little while. Um,
Hmm.
so like Necro Ritual, and then you got Devastator, and then you've also got well, Devastator kind of new. They started like 2017 or something, and then you've also got Fen, who are really cool, like Atmos black metal, and then you've also got Craven Idol, which is another good UK like dirtier black thrash.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
like a lineup, for example, like Aura Noir, Devastator, Craven Idol, those three bands would be amazing together because it's that same kind of like kind of
yeah. Yeah,
thing.
and there's a band that a few years now I've been listening to them. Also from Cobalt, Norway, Necromantheon,
Okay.
and Death Hammer.
Okay,
Uh,
I've not listened to them.
you ever heard them?
I've not heard the heard about them at all. Nah.
Oh man,
Yeah.
the talk about like thrash as thrash gets, but it's like I mean it's just coming straight from the from Norway of course, and so it's blackened and it's grim and it's just so good. Uh, I saw them I think it was the first or the second Inferno Festival. I think it was the second one. Necromantheon actually played, and I fell into knowing about them because some of the same guys that's in that band have a death metal band, um, which is really the name escapes me right now, uh, but really really good. I'll find those links and I'll send them to you
Yeah, yeah,
for
sure,
sure.
sure, sure. And
But
speaking of like Norway thrash, like I recently discovered Nocturnal Breed. Like I'd known the band for a long time.
yeah,
Nocturnal Breed. They've got this kind of like it's like Bathory but faster.
oh
Uh,
shit,
yeah, it's like yeah, like that kind of like early Bathory but faster, kind of grim. Yeah, that was really really great, and also Imbalance, because I know their bass player Harald. He used to be in Thorns, so yeah, he I got to find out about Imbalance because of that, and it's really cool. Fucking like sometimes like tech thrash in a way. It's sort of
oh tech,
like you
that's
got
different.
yeah, you got kind of riffs and stuff, but it's really
Yeah, yeah.
It's really well done as well. So yeah, Norway's a good place when it comes to music.
Oh man, I've echoed that sentiment for years, man. I remember being on an AOL chat room back in like 1995, and I was just in my Slayer era, my fucking, I was toying with Cannibal Corpse at one point, and Obituary, and then someone said, "Hey, you like death metal? You should check out Entombed."
Oh yeah,
And it was like, there's death metal in Sweden,
yes,
and it's just opened the
yeah,
floodgates.
yep. Because that Swedish death metal sound, because it's like the US death metal stuff. Because I was listening to like Cannibal Corpse's The Bleeding recently as well. Like that US death metal sound was more kind of, it was more technical, and it was more about kind of um, getting the notes to sing out.
Right.
Whereas like what the Swedish death metal guys did was try to make things like a bit more grimmer. Not so much on the clarity side, but more in this kind of like reverb, like kind of drum sound.
Yeah.
And that, of course, the one of these in it,
There you go. Yeah. Yeah.
HM2 sound. So
What year is that one?
God knows, man. I don't even know. This is all it says is well, it's got Japanese writing at the back, and then it says
Oh
made in
shit.
Japan. But it's definitely got to be one of the early ones. But I got this used for cheap, and that's why it's so battered up and destroyed. But yeah, it's like it's. I think there's a very kind of I think there's truth into like your environment shapes like the music you make
Oh
or your
yes.
upbringing as well, because like if we because I was talking about this with a friend of mine, and we were talking about like what actually makes what is like the English sound, and then it ended up kind of being like a kind of Iron Maiden kind of like Judas Priest, or like even sometimes Sabbath influence, where it's kind of focused on like sometimes melodic riffs.
Hmm.
Um, because yes, because Black Sabbath have written plenty of melodic riffs, same with Iron Maiden and Judas Priest, and if we take like some of the Cradle of Filth stuff, some of the stuff is super like melodic, and it's got this kind of, but at least in the black metal side, there's like a wistfulness to that kind of thing. Um, and even with like the music that I've made, like the black metal I've made, there's always been like some kind of melody, like even if it's like a dark melody. Um, like if I were to get a guitar, it's like I always focus on like how can I make a riff memorable and like exciting and interesting, because I remember coming up with this like do do da do. If you play it like slowly, like death metal, something kind of catchy. I was like, what if I black metal the hell out of it, then and then came up with like that melody, and then that's a riff from Ereshkigal's End 2. So it's kind of like not only just making something like catchy, but also some like dark melodies, as I call them, um, as opposed to like outright happy melodies. So
I'm glad you grabbed the guitar because I want to ask this question. Because I didn't know for sure, but are you a Dean artist?
I'm not a Dean artist, but I am. It's like a halfway between. Uh, it's halfway between like an artist and a brand rep in a way.
Gotcha.
So it's kind of like that. It's like
Like a brand ambassador, they call that.
sort of.
Yeah.
It's like we've come to a core deal where every once in a while, if they send me a guitar, and I get to use it, and it's a and that's another big thing as well, because they've sent me three guitars. I've got one in a case right now. The most recent one was this seven string Exile, which is by far the best guitar I've ever played when it comes to like upper fret access,
Uh-huh.
because it's just so easy. It's definitely a shredding kind of. It's Dean's Ibanez RG basically,
Okay, that
but
makes
without
sense.
the but without the RG drawbacks. So what I always found with the RG is that the neck used to like dig into my hand too much, like here. And the ones that I played, unless they had like upgraded pickups, they didn't sound as aggressive as I wanted it to.
Hmm.
Um, but this one is really really nice sounding, kind of like a mid-focus sound. It's got Fishman open core active pickups in it, so they're active pickups, but the way they sound is like a really high quality passive pickup, and it's really comfortable to play as well, even for like the 7 string stuff. And it's a cool guitar to just like have as have to use, not only because it's so portable and kind of small. It's also important because if something happens to my Razorback, which is my main live gigging guitar, at least I've got something to fall back on, like another good
Right.
7 string.
So
Yeah.
I was going to say, so I mean, I have problems like having to play just six strings rather than seven. Like, uh, going from six to seven. Like, I guess, how did you go from going from six to seven? Like what were you just genuinely curious about it, or?
Yeah, so back in Premature Birthdays, Billy he got a 7 string guitar, and it sounded really cool when I was playing like the power chords the 6 string way, and then he played it on the low B, the boom kind of sounds. And then we decided that, like, at some point, it's like, if we were going to write more music in future, we should try and incorporate 7 strings. And I thought, yeah, that's a cool idea. And I was looking for a 7 string that I liked to play. And I tried so much stuff. Um, all the LTDs, an Ormsby, Kiesel. I think I tried some other stuff as well. And mayonnaise as well. And I just never got the hang of how they felt. And
Yeah,
part of that is not only do I like Dean necks, but I was so used to that, to the V shape and the ML and the X shapes and stuff. And then Dean Guitars used to have a building and a showroom in the UK, and I remember driving down there in 2017 because they were selling this white Razorback. And I was like, screw it, let me just go there and try the guitar out. And then as soon as I played the guitar, it was like, not only did I get onto the with got on with Matthew, the guy who was like the representative and the guy working there at the time, but it was also like the only nice 7 string that I played at the time. And then it was like, cool, I might as well just get this then. And then yeah, I should talk about it a bit more because this is a really really special guitar. So I bought it knowing that it had like a chip in the headstock, which
yeah,
still bugs me. But I've just kind of got used to accepting it now. I've had this guitar for nearly 8 years, and I used it a lot for like all the band stuff. Like once we got like the proper Oreshkagor live lineup, I used this for all of the shows. And then when I was writing a new Oreshkagor, I was like, okay, and I just noticed that I wasn't getting the sound that I wanted from the original pickup that was in here, which was an EMG 707.
yeah,
So I got that replaced with a Fishman Fluence Modern ceramic, and this has been biggest blessing for this guitar because the tone and the sounds, like I'll plug in real quick. The tones and the sounds on this thing are just evil, and it's got this really kind of like forceful sound to it. And another thing that happened is that the original tremolo, um, a couple of the screws were threaded, and one bolt was stuck in there.
yeah.
So I remember I was like a few days before the Oreshkagor show in November, and I go and restring the guitar, and I can't tune the low E, so I have to pinch out a bolt from another guitar, retrofit that in the old tremolo, and then I just tightened up the high E bolt here, that one right there, just enough so that the string was fixed into place for the gig. And then even with a technically a broken tremolo that wasn't even sat properly, that I found out afterwards, it still did 2 rehearsals. So day 1 rehearsal, day 2 rehearsal, and the gig, and I didn't even need to tune it. And that's how great this guitar is, first of all, and then like the tone and the sound. Like normally I plug into my Fireball, like that's my main go-to amp. But I decided to mess around with the JVM today. this sound where you hear like the kind of like you hear like this kind of like slapping of the strings. So it's quite percussive, not very kind of very kind of like trebly as opposed to like mid and low end.
Uh-huh.
But I like that because it gives more space for like a bass guitar when you're playing live and stuff like this. And then this is still like one of the only 7 string guitars that I've played where there's actual chord clarity in the lower strings. Even if I'm playing like slightly awkward chords, all of
Yeah,
the
you can
notes.
hear that clarity from even on a phone. You can hear it.
Yeah, and yeah. Now, and with the tremolo, I had to get the licensed Floyd Rose tremolo changed to a Goto bridge, and yeah, this is still the best 7 string guitar I played. So and then even when playing like the 6 string, like super hyper black thresher, you know, it's all it's like
Yeah,
throwing punches all the time.
it punches.
And then with like all the tremolo pick stuff, yeah, all the chords just sing. And that's another cool thing as well with Fishman pickups and active pickups. Something about active pickups just make more mid-heavy amps sound um, to me nicer because it gets rid of like this flub. Because I find that with some passive pickups, they just don't have this. Uh, they've got a rounded low end, but it's not so much defined. Like it can easily get
Hmm.
kind of muddy sometimes, especially if you like down tune them and
Right.
stuff. Like with the cool thing about the Marshall amps, and to an extent like the Engels and the Mesa Boogies, I've always found that they sound a bit more not only brighter but like more articulate with the active pickups
Oh,
as well.
yes, they do. I could
And
I could vouch for that.
yeah, yeah. So that's why I kind of like active pickups because they take like especially in the live circumstance, it's like it just makes things easier for me because it's got this the consistency of the sound is great. And yeah, these Fishman pickups are fantastic, and I even like the EMG 81s. I've still used them for years
I
now.
still use that too. That's
Yeah,
on my main writing guitars. Is it the tried and true 8185 set?
yeah. And if you do like an A/B comparison of the pickups, there's like what I found with the Fishman is that there's a bit more brightness to the Fishmans, a bit less low end, and a bit more brightness, just a bit less compression. But it's to the point where it's like it doesn't even matter which pickup you use sometimes because it's just like it comes down to like price and preference really because like if you give me 100 quid for example and I was told to get a pickup, I don't even think you can get like a single Fishman pickup for under 100, but you could probably try
Oh
getting an
no.
EMG for 100 quid.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And
Definitely can.
so like if I've got a 6 string guitar and it's got an EMG 81, I'm not going to complain. The only time where I'm a bit like is when it gets like 7s and 8 strings because then for me Fishman is king. Like I've tried some bare knuckle pickups and they're really good, um, but I've not had. I haven't. It just hasn't excited me the same way
I'm
the
gonna
Fishman did.
whenever we're offline, I'm gonna send you a clip of me playing. I have these passive pickups made by Arcane Incorporated.
Oh, hey, yeah.
Yes, I don't know if you heard about them. This
No.
guy, I believe he's out on the West Coast somewhere in California, and he makes these incredible line of pickups. And I have one. I have his Doom pickup, and yeah, this shit crushes. Like, it doesn't matter what you're tuned to. It is just, I mean, the low end on it is just in your face.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great because yeah, and that reminds me because I've never tried a Seymour Duncan Black Winter, not yet. And everyone's been asking me for years to try it and like demo it, and I've just never had that opportunity to try one of those either. But yeah, I find like with these boutique pickup brands, they always just seem to nail it
Yeah,
differently.
yeah.
Because I've got like a passive pickup with Patasonic, and it's so kind of and it's got so much like weight to the
It's got
sound.
some balls to it.
Yeah, yeah. And what I like most about the Patasonic pickups, it's like it's got this kind of like a deep rhythm tone for the black metal stuff, but where it really shines is all the lead riffs,
Yeah.
because there's this certain harmonic chime that they have that I've never experienced with any other pickup. So yeah, for like even cleans and stuff, they're just there's brilliant pickups. So I've got those fitted to a couple guitars, and yeah, the thing is, it's like gear is one of those. It's not a means to an end, but it's kind of like what do you prefer kind of thing, and
Oh, absolutely.
it's a
I,
difficult one. It's a difficult one because I'm kind of set in my ways, but I also know what I like from gear. It's like I can dial into an amp and I already know, just in like the first 5 minutes if I'd consider buying it, for example.
mhm.
Um, and yeah, that's one of the reasons why I've got these four specifically, because the Firewall does its thing, the Powerball does its thing, the JVM does its thing, and the Valve State does its thing. They've all got this very unique identity to each one of the amps, and they all sound good without needing much work, i.e., like boost pedals and stuff. So I
Yeah.
can just like that tone that you just heard is just straight in, and that's just as pure as it can be.
Yeah.
And yeah, gear is great, but it's so troublesome.
I know. And and uh I sometimes I hang around with the I don't want to say the wrong people because they're the right people. They're some awesome musicians, and then I like, man, and it's like, hey, you checked out the Lawler DB, and like after I just got this Doom pickup, and I'm like, man, that's really awesome. It's like it's the worst problem to have.
Yep.
Whenever you don't have money.
Yeah, yeah. For real, like one thing that I tried, um, and I still I still think about this amp sometimes, and it's the original Engel Savage, the 120.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, dude, that's an amp. That's that
it
for me. Like
is.
when it comes to like six string guitars at least, and playing through those, that's the best amp I've used.
Man, I know that, like, I've heard it in person, and a lot of people on YouTube have them. That amp is so great
Yeah,
that they made it like IRs and freaking plugins have like that. That's a staple just about on every company's like
yeah,
preset. Like you gotta have the Ingle
yeah,
Savage. You just
yeah.
have to.
Yeah, man, and I'm really curious about the Engel Savage 2, because I've used the Savage 1, but from like videos online, it's like for me, it sounds like there's a certain kind of that's missing from the Engel Savage 2. It's like they've kind of held back with some of the upper end of
Hmm.
the amp, and the thing is that I found with especially like the Razorback, because I tried it through the Savage and I tried it through the Fireball, and the one thing that this Fireball has is darkness. This kind of unspoken darkness to the sound that when you run a kind of like high endy kind of guitar with a high endy pickup like the Fishman through the Fireball, it perfectly balances itself out. And I didn't get that so much with the Savage. I could have like EQ'd with it a bit, but like overall for like six string guitars and just when I had it for the time, I was like, damn, this is really great, a really really great sound. And yeah, the thing is, it's like Engels. Engels to me are kind of like like if you take like Indian food for example, yeah, it's kind of like you can go and get, I don't know, like a lamb masala lamb curry from like one restaurant, and then a different restaurant does the same thing and it's a little bit different, but it's still good.
Right,
That's how
right.
I feel about Engel products.
Yeah,
There hasn't been an Engel product that I didn't like,
yeah.
because I've used the Fireball, Powerball, I've used the old 60 Fireball and a Savage, and they're all great. And I would love to get my hands on a 6L6 Founders Edition,
Hmm.
because that to me, at least from YouTube demos, sounds like that fine point between a Marshall and an Engel, and that's really the kind of thing that I really want to go for now. because you've got this brightness from the Marshall, and this, and you've got this like refinement from the Engel, and yeah, it just sounds brilliant. It just
Yeah.
sounds brilliant. Yeah. So yeah, I need to try one day. Yeah, that's probably one of the only amps that I'm like, that's the amp that I need to try the most.
Yeah.
Is that, and then it's
That's the
going to
one
be
you got your eye on.
and then it's going to be the Mesa Mark series, because I've never used those, and they sound really good as well, and I've only heard good things about them. So yeah, like I've still got guitars and pickups and amps and cabs that I want to try. It's just a case of when and how can I try them. You know,
Right.
unless I fly out to like fucking Frankfurt or wherever Toman is and spend a day at their warehouse and have a bunch of stuff there. So yeah, that's the thing. There's so much stuff, and it's so easy to get caught up in things. And honestly, these days, man, I'm just using Archetype Gajira with my own IRs, and that does a
Yeah.
job.
I have I have the same program, man, and it's I always like I started out with Easy Mix,
Uh huh.
and
Yep.
I had the death metal death guitars pack,
Mm.
and then I, one of my friends had the Omega Grandifier archetype,
Yes.
and I love it. I love that. And that I mean, for what I heard, that plugin, that archetype is better than the actual amp.
The oh really, the Granifier.
Yeah, yeah,
See,
that's what I heard. And
I've used the
and
plugin.
this is coming from someone who plays live regularly. You know, I do it for a living. So I and then whenever the Gojira archetype came out, I had to get it,
Yeah.
and bro, it just sounds so wicked.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
sounds like the real deal.
and that's the cool thing with Archetype Gojira, is that it's you know, the amount of work that they spent on it. You know, you can tell it's like the the best of every little whatever mic they use and whatever
Yeah.
setting. It's like it's just great, man. Um, yeah, like the Granifier, I'd like to try one in person, and then do an A/B comparison with the plugin as well, and just yeah, just take it from there as well. And I also like the fact in the Granifier plugin, because I don't have it myself, but the last time I used it, it's quite cool how it lets you choose what different tubes to use as well.
Right. Yeah.
So that must mean, like, when they were developing that thing, Omega Ampworks would have had to either provided them with three different um, amps so they can capture it, or take one back and then send it forward and
Yeah. Yeah.
back again,
Yeah.
or get it like modded or whatever. So it's yeah, I'd love to try some of these amps in person. And Archetype Gojira is such a great program, because the reason why I got that over the other ones is because it kind of does a bit of everything.
Mhm.
And you know, if you want to do the death metal stuff, you can. If you want to do the black metal stuff with it, if you want to like do some thrash tones or even some clean sounds, it's all there.
It really is.
It's all there, and I think it's probably one of the more quintessential pieces of software that people should have
Oh
nowadays.
yeah, it's very integral to what I'm doing. That's for sure.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah.
because I don't know shit about reamping or anything like that. You know, maybe I'm just too lazy to learn right now. But uh, Gojira Archetype and Omega Grandifier, dude, like, it does everything that I need and then some.
Yep,
And
100%.
I'm not sponsored, by the way. God damn it! But you know, if y'all want to endorse me and Dev, great. Come on, Nero, let's
Yep,
do it.
yep. Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, it'd be nice to have like a neural deal, because I'm really interested in their quad cortexes as well.
I got one of
Um,
those.
oh yeah, how is
Yeah,
it?
it's fucking amazing. You will like dive into this rabbit hole and you just better have at least 2 to 3 weeks of doing nothing.
Okay.
Because I mean, dude, it's so much, and it's just there's so many things you can do, and then like you have all the factory presets, you have all the cloud based stuff, right? That you could choose from, and then like you got users who are uploading their own IRs and their own presets and own signal chains. I mean, this like dude, like people say the sky's the limit. It's like the universe. It's like a galaxy's the limit, dude. And when it comes to this thing, it's incredible.
Sweet. And you
And I
can
never thought I'd own one, but it was a birthday gift because my wife pays attention, to my conversations, and all of a sudden, like I got it the year it came out. She's like, she just had the receipt. She was like, "You're on the pre-order." I was like,
That's amazing, man.
"Yeah,
That's so
yeah,
nice of her for real. Oh, that's cool. And you can upload so in the box you could put in your own IRs,
yep,
and then doesn't it also have the capability to run like Gojira or any of some of the other plugins and stuff
yes,
like that?
yes." As long as you have your like, because Neuro has like this like the manager, the where everything, like, you get your program and it downloads, and it's pretty much the same setup with the quad cortex. So as long as you have everything you're running simultaneously to your phone, to the it's on the same network, is what I'm saying. It's
Cool.
great.
Yeah, because that's one thing that I haven't really messed around with much is like that kind of hardware and software when it comes to like sound and stuff. Because I've just always just gone into tube amps
Yeah.
all the time, really, like head and cabin kind of thing. And it would just like say if either one of us were to do a show abroad or out or wherever, it would just be easier to carry and take.
Oh yes, hundred
And
percent, man.
yeah,
And
unless
then they just came out with the little the Neuro Nano, which is even smaller than the
Mm,
quad cortex. And it's I haven't seen any do a gear review on it just yet. I'm sure they're out there, but I'm really curious to see what people say about that, how
yeah,
it compares to the quad.
yeah, exactly. And the thing is, it's like for me anyway. One of the reasons why I started doing gear reviews myself is because there was nothing very much. There was nothing really tailored to the black metal side of things. Because an amp responds completely differently when it comes to like tremolo picked playing and this more kind of like percussive playing that metal's normally used to. Because like take for example a riff like as soon as you get to like the tremolo pick stuff, you've got these extra layers and harmonics screaming out. You've got like more kind of like and feedback. So for me anyway. It's important to have an amp and a sound that does both the percussive like da 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 kind of thing, but also the stuff that's good for the kind of
Yeah,
thing. And one thing that I found with an EVH, I borrowed a 5150. I think it was the 5153. The kind of is it the ivory colored one, not the white one or the black one. It was the
I know what you're talking about.
yeah
Yeah.
EL34 tubes, I believe. And the issue that I had with that is that it was like too much kind of like high end in a way. Like it did the bum bam thing really nice until you really dig down on the strings, and it's like, whoa, this is like bum, bum, like it wasn't like uh it's like the balance was kind of off, and it was you can tell that it was designed more for lead playing as opposed to outright straight up, for me anyway, like that black metal playing. Because I know a lot of people who do use the EVHs. It's just that I find with EVH products and even the 6505s and 5150s, I pick too hard for those amps,
Yeah.
and I get this like really awkward kind of response from them that I don't get from Marshalls and Engels, and that's why I've always kind of drawn to these amps because it's more me, and
Right.
that's kind of like the important thing. It's like, yes, you might want to sound like X or Y band. I tried to sound like Archaon from 1349 for the longest time, and like those 1349 albums, try to get something similar to like Hellfire or whatever. And then I realized like that's never going to happen because I don't play them and I'm not them. I don't play like them, but I'm not them. The way like Archaon and Shalva play is completely different to the way that I play. So they're going to naturally get different sounds from their amps.
So
So I had to find what worked for me, and then
speaking of Archaon, so you bought the guitar from Archaon, right?
So I didn't buy it directly from him, but it
And it
was
went
one of
through
his.
him at one point.
Okay, yes, so it was the Jackson Kelly that he used on the early 1349 days. So
Okay.
2005 and before. So I'm pretty sure there were like some bits on Liberation recorded on that album. Beyond the Apocalypse, it definitely, because it did the Beyond the Apocalypse tour, and yeah, so I have his old Jackson Kelly, and there's a video on YouTube of the 1349 playing Legion, and I think it's the show that they did in Hamburg in 2003. It's that very guitar, and at the moment it's at my local guitar shop getting a setup.
Yeah, it's kind of cool because like you and I both have a an Archaon story because just just in this past Inferno Festival where I was getting tattooed the same time he was.
Yeah, all right, yeah, I remember you
Yeah.
saying, yeah, yeah, yeah,
And you know, I was thinking to myself, I was like, he was getting tattooed on the inside of his bicep,
yeah,
and if you know anything about tattoo work, that's a very sensitive spot. So our man was he was hurting for a little bit, that's for
yeah.
sure. Kept pounding the beers, and eventually he went from the chair to just laying down on the tattoo artist's merch table.
Yeah, dude, that's jokes, man. Dude, I wish I was there to see that. But yeah, Archeon, yeah, he's got a very, very good taste in beer. Let's put it like that because we went. I'm not going to say too much because there's something in the works. But yeah, he picked a very good beer. Let's put it like that. And yeah,
I think I'm tracking.
yeah. And so yeah, that'll be on the channel. I don't know when this is going to be released, but I'm hoping to release it first week of May. Yeah, so yeah, it was quite cool. It's yeah,
Yeah, really
it's,
cool dude. It really cool. We were talking back and forth. I actually interviewed Jarrett Pritchard,
yes, I
and
saw the yeah,
so in he knows those guys, you know, personally, of course, and produced them and tour managers and all that good stuff for them. And like I took a picture. I was like, "You mind if I get a picture and send it to Jarrett?" He's like, "Oh no, man."
yeah.
So send it to Jarrett, and it was a good time. And what's wild is that before his tattoo artist was got him in the chair. Rune Blasphemer got tattooed. He had
Oh
that
yeah,
fresh tattoo while he was playing, and I didn't even realize that was him because the sunglasses threw me off, and he had his hair
oh yeah,
pulled back, and I was like, "Holy shit, that was Blasphemer getting tattooed the same time I was."
dude, no way. And that was dude, the guy got tattooed and then did a show.
Yeah, yeah,
Big up, Blasphemer, man.
yeah. He had like a little forearm tattoo, like it was like a little that little symbol that he was like on his picking hand,
Okay,
uh,
cool.
picking arm, I should say, and I was like, "Oh, okay." That's blasphemer. Like you look the like I said, the big sunglasses threw me off.
Yeah,
And but yeah, man, what a great fucking festival that was.
dude, hell yeah,
Um,
yeah. I had a chance to speak to Blasphemer for a little bit because I've been trying to get him for Black Metal Legends for about a year now, and yeah, I just tried to. Hopefully, we can sort something soon.
but let me know when you do. Let
Because
them know
that
you
would
have a
be
friend. Let them know you have a friend in the states that would also like to talk to him as well.
okay. Cool. Yeah, yeah. So I'll do my best to try and get that sorted out, of course, because I've got loads of questions that I want to ask him as well. Because I love what he did in Mayhem, man.
Oh
I
yeah,
like what he's doing in Room and of course Aura Noir as well. He's just like consistently making good music and good riffs, and
yeah.
it's just like the way he plays is like there's tricks and traps, and that's what I love. I love it when there's guitarists that are not only brutal with their playing, but it's like kind of technical and articulate, and there's surprises in there.
Mhm.
Um, like what is it? That song, "Crystallized Pain and Deconstruction," with cool rhythms and stuff going on and stuff, and then uh, in "Slaughter of Dreams," I think is
Yeah,
Chimera. Um, yeah, I think that's the one. And then you got symbols of blood swords as well.
Hmm.
It's just it hits the spot, man.
Okay, so like we're at the point in my podcast where I always ask people like, what are six albums that you cannot live without? Or six?
Um, okay, so I've got to pick. Okay, to because otherwise I'm just gonna be that dick and just pick all 1349 albums. So I'm gonna keep it to like one album per band.
There you go.
So for me, now in 2025, I keep finding myself going back to 1349's Liberation. Like Demon Noir is like probably the most important black metal album for me, and I love it to death. There's just something that's a bit more fun about Liberation, and it's like a tie between the two. Basically, it's like
Yeah, yeah.
battling out between the two. So it's either one of those. So that's 1349 out of the way. With Mayhem, it will probably be. So I think like talking about blasphemer and stuff like as an album, I think probably it's got to be Chimera, because Chimera is an album that I can just go into.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like Order Wide KO is my favorite Mayhem album, so I've got to be in the right kind of mood for that one because that
Uh-huh.
takes you places. So yeah, and I really like Wolf Slayer Abyss as well, Granddad's Creation. Basically, okay, look, 1349, it's either going to be Liberation or Demon Noir. With Mayhem, it's got to be one of the Blasphemer albums, yeah, give or take. Um, Pantheon Eyes, Worlds I Create, because I just love the guitar work and the stuff that Shalva and Sargstar did with that. So that's three out the way. Albums I can't live without. Black Sabbath's Paranoid. I listen to that one a lot.
Great choice.
Yeah. Um, Let me check Spotify real quick.
Gotta cheat.
Any of the Murkskog albums, Superior Massacre or Death Machine, any one of those would be great. I'm gonna actually put in Astral Fortress because I just
That's what I'm
really
talking
enjoy.
about.
And fuck it, I might as well just put in some Oreshkigal in there as well. Any one of the EPs we've done because they're just fun.
There you go, man. That's awesome. That's I love that six. I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah, it's cool. It's I think it's a good bunch. It's very telling. But the thing is, there's so many good albums, and your mood shifts
Yeah.
um, from time to time, and then you find yourself like it was only recently, like in the past like few weeks, I kind of like Gehenna's first album, First Spell. That was the like I kind of was like on the fence about it for ages, and then it kind of like clicked when I was driving, and it was that very kind of mystical style of black metal as well. So it's very very mood dependent as well. And then of course you got the Dimmy Ball Gear stuff like Spiritual Black Dimensions, Puritanical, Death Cult, even the Godless Savage Garden EP. Love all that shit. Immortal. Um, any Immortal album really is great.
Yeah.
I really like. I think At
I'm
the
a
Heart of
huge
Winter is my favorite.
which one?
At the Heart of Winter.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm a huge Sons of Northern Darkness fan.
Yeah, like
I,
I really like Sons of Northern Darkness. I think it does this, and then it kind of does that, and it just doesn't like the first few songs off that album. Just like just really do it for me.
yeah.
One by One, Sons of Northern Darkness, and Tyrants. I think those songs are very 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 well written. Um, yeah, there's a whole bunch of cool stuff. There's so much good music out there. It's hard to yeah, it's hard to choose
It really is.
when you're chosen and on the spot.
I just like torturing my guests.
Yeah,
I'm
because
kind
then
of a
I've got to,
sadist like that.
yeah, because at some point I've got to put in Thorns' Grimmick demo in there as well because that thing's just fucking magic. Same thing with Death Crush as well. Like I've always found I listen to Death Crush more than I do De Mysterious, because Death Crush is like silly and fun,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's really great. And you've also got like it was also like recently as well, like in the past couple of years, like it kind of clicked with Under a Funeral Moon as well,
Hmm.
because I like black metal with good drumming. And if like what I can't stand musically in black metal is when there's a riff and there you've got the kind of that mid tempo blast beat, that kind of like kind of thing, because it just sounds to me like I just don't enjoy it. It just sounds half-assed. And
Yeah,
there's very
yeah.
few drummers
Half-assed and just
that are
basic
really good.
typewriter shit.
Yeah, yeah. Like I don't like that typewriter drumming. I like it when someone's like if someone's like on the typewriter. It's just for me more exciting. Or if it's like you can have a riff and still be at the same speed, but if you accent it in threes, so instead of it being and you got triplet blast kind of things, it's so much more interesting to me as a riff. Because there's so many times where I just switch off, like literally, like you like turn the engine off, where you've got like a good riff where it's like da na na da 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 da, and then the drum beat da 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 da. I'm like, I want da 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 gar ga 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 ga, or gar ga da 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 da, and then I'm instantly like, yep, you've got my
Yep,
attention. Yep,
yep.
yep, good. I like this. Yeah.
That was probably the best way to wrap up an episode right there.
Yeah.
Dev, thank you so much for chatting with me, man. This was so good. But you got anything you want to push out there besides your channel?
Um, Everything's on the channel, I guess. Links to the book, bands, and all that kind of stuff is all on the channel. Um, uh, Things that I want to push. Um, Nothing too much at the moment. Not too much that I can say. Um, but of course, keep an eye out in the black metal space, in the black metal world, because there's going to be some cool stuff coming out. Keep an eye on the channel, and yeah, it's been a pleasure, man.
Fucking Dev, catch him on YouTube, follow him, subscribe to him, get his books, follow his band. He's the man. Thank you,
Cool.
Dev.
Thanks a lot, man.
You have a good one, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, in a bit. See ya.